again, even for like Milo, I feel like we're, like Milo, and he got canceled for just simply being gay. Like to me, because again, man, like the right.
No, he was supporting, he was normalizing and basically like endorsing like grown men fucking
I
young
didn't hear it
boys,
like
right?
that though.
And I agree though. I hear it differently too,
Yeah, I hear it
but
like
they
that.
did a very good job of presenting that case at that time. So let's not like gloss
No,
over
No, they
what.
didn't even do a good job.
Nah.
Milo just himself.
Yeah, bro.
If you want to deal with a topic like that,
Right.
you got to know you're gonna get up if you treat it. Because what he's like, oh well, Pastor Michael's taught me how to give really good head. It's like, bro, come on, dog. You can't follow that up with like, well, yeah, young boys need older men to guide them. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, yeah, he just got way too high off his own shit and thought he could literally say anything. That dude had a book deal, international tours. He thought he was untouchable.
But what was crazy about that is that I asked him damn near the same question when I had him on the podcast because he had just been on Joe Rogan and I had heard him basically say that, and Joe kind of let it skate and he didn't really like dig in too much. I asked him about it as well. I could feel it that like he realized this is sort of a untenable position that might get him in trouble in the long run. But then he actually got canceled for like an amazing atheist podcast, I believe.
Yeah, right. And now a question is, when is deplatforming okay then? Like what's the line? Again, like for me personally, I'm somebody where I support the right of any racist to come online and speak on why they hate this group and why this group ain't shit. I support, again, right? Because me, I'm an absolutist, right? Meaning like, it's free speech, talk your shit, or nothing at all. So I support it, but
Do you really believe that?
Yeah, of
I feel
course.
like we could easily come up with some situations that would convince you otherwise.
no, right. So look, so like here's my theory is, as long as that speech do not violate somebody's natural rights, meaning like somebody has the right to life, liberty, and like pursuit of happiness, right? So as long as that speech do not call for somebody to be killed, call for somebody to be
it's not
violated.
illegal. No child porn, no
yeah.
like direct calls
Yeah,
to
you feel
violence
me?
or
For
whatever.
sure.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
the easy stuff that you got to keep off your platform. But I mean, if you're Twitter, and he could probably do a better job summarizing this than me, is like if you're Twitter, like who's demanding that you have like a rich community of Nazis on your platform? Like, isn't that well within their rights to at some point and say, no, we don't want that on here?
Yeah, right. So like it's in their right, but they have a responsibility, meaning again, Twitter is only able but to operate because we tolerate it. Meaning like, and if the consumers say, listen, like we're not fucking with it, they are out of here. So I feel like we should say, listen, like we support the right of any Antifa, of any Nazis, right? Again, they have the right to have a space to speak whatever they want to speak without violating somebody else's rights, right? And the minute, Facebook and Twitter, the absolute minute that, that they go against free speech or go against just like, I feel like Twitter, like just like deplatforms just anybody once they get like backlash or once that person don't really fit like their mode. I feel like it's up to us to really, again, boycott, ban, shut that shit down, burn that shit down the minute they go against, but the values.
Thoughts?
So there's a lot of different things going on here. So first we'll talk about like social media platforms real quick. I don't think the argument that they're private companies, I don't think that works anymore. I do think these represent the new public square, which kind of calls a different type of scrutiny onto them.
But something formal will have to happen in order for them to actually be treated like that,
of course.
right? Yeah,
I understand because right now they're functioning as they should. The Section 230 arguments are bullshit. They're totally within their right to ban certain types of people from their platform if they want to, but it's really fucking weird that a billionaire who's the president of the United States has like disappeared from my eye because like a couple of tech companies are like, we're not going to host a shit anymore.
Right.
That's bizarre to me. That's scary to me.
Did it feel justified during January 6th at that time? Because I remember at that time, it kind of felt like there was a real alleviation of tension in the country. It felt like a practical decision at that time, to be honest.
Maybe, yeah, it's hard to say. Because Trump went really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And we now know even more about how far he was going.
Yeah. But like when you get to people like Andrew Tate, like when you're starting to deplatform at that level across, and it's like a coordinated thing, it feels like my big issue that I've been focusing on, especially over the past year, is it feels like there's like two different kinds of like worlds. There's like matter and antimatter that like can never touch in the United States. Where you have like these conservative worlds and you've got like these liberal worlds, and sometimes we even like live next to these people, but we inhabit different places on the internet. We go to different restaurants, have different activities, and we never actually truly cross. And that rigid ideological reinforcement, that ideological orthodoxy that exists online, I think is furthering that divide. Like, I think that it's funny because some people always point out that in the United States, one of the biggest fears is that we're becoming more and more divided than we ever have. But I don't actually think that's the problem. I think the problem is that we have two different groups of people that are becoming more and more unified. Like, it's not that we're all so different. It's that there's two groups now that are getting more and more the same and are moving like really far in different directions.
Right.
Because in a lot of like left-leaning, ultra-progressive areas, that ultra-progressive opinion is not challenged, and you can't even challenge it. It's like unbelievable to even think
You're
about
an
challenging
example
it.
of that. Like if
I'm getting banned for transphobia, like,
Exactly.
yeah, what the fuck is going on? What are we doing? Yeah.
And because I've had this conversation. I want to know your opinion on it. I've had this conversation of like, look at the Republicans versus look at the Democrats. So the Republicans are so fucking welcoming, and they'll like allow even people as far as like actual white supremacists. They won't disavow them from their party. They'll like happily have QAnon people be a part of their party. Whereas on the left, it's like, you say anything, like they should be happy to have Destiny as somebody. They should be courting you to fucking promote their candidates or whatever. They should be courting a Joe Rogan, who to me is somebody who was clearly like driven from the left, who identified as a Democrat for all these years, and he was kind of pushed away from the party, which it's kind of an understandable decision because he was basically shit on by like some of the most powerful party people in the party. I mean, like, is that just like a fundamental, is that the nature of leftism, or is that something that you think could eventually change in order for it to have a wider appeal?
Again, I think both sides do it. There's a concept called like the bigotry of small differences, where I kind of feel it personally.
That's why all these gangbangers kill each other.
Maybe, yeah.
It's because they live next to each other and they have like a different couple letters tattooed on them,
Sure, yeah. Like if I'm fighting with a conservative, like their audience can call me anything they want, and it's not gonna hurt me. Like, oh, like you're a cuck, you're a fag, you're a socialist, like whatever, dude. I don't care.
Right.
But if I'm arguing with a leftist and people are saying like you're racist, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, like no, I'm not. The fuck? It's not even remotely true. Like those insults piss me off way the fuck more because they're so wrong.
Right.
Like these people are using insults, and the insults are more or less just like they're all stand-ins for I really disagree with you and I don't like you because of that. And it's like, okay. And on the left, it's kind of the same, but we shouldn't disagree. Like we line up a ton. So yeah, I think there's a concept that like the closer you are to somebody, like there are small differences that will make you hate each other a lot. And it does happen on the right. There are a lot of different like factions, like the Daily Wire faction. Fuentes has like his America First faction. You've got Turning Point USA. And sometimes these groups like absolutely hate each other. They fight a lot too. But it's more front and center on the left because again, they've got like the cultural power right now. So you can see all of that like really, front and center.
All right, people, we just hit 300,000 subscribers. We're trying to hit 400,000 subscribers. So that little red button, tap it, tap in. We appreciate y'all.